from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for August 2021. So I want to thank you for tuning in, for joining me, for liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. All of this love, all of this support is really helping the cause. And because of that, I actually have switched things up. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you may know that I started off providing Astro tarot forecasts for all the zodiacs at each beginning of every month. And I kind of stepped away from that a couple of months ago. It was becoming very time consuming and being censored on some of the other platforms. It wasn't getting the reach. And my whole point is to put out content that, of course, is going to provide as much information as possible for the masses to be able to actually navigate these energies with grace and ease. So I kind of felt a little bit discouraged. I pulled back, I discontinued doing those Astro Tarot forecasts, and I started providing zodiac forecasts that people could download and listen to based off of their sun sign and really kind of break down what they can expect for the month ahead. I am now stepping away from that as well. Now that my YouTube channel has reached a very, very welcomed point of success where I can actually monetize this channel, I feel it's only appropriate for me to get away from actually charging people for the information that I actually need them to know in order to help the great grander collective here. And I'm going to start providing these monthly insights for each of the zodiacs for free here on my YouTube channel. So you being here, you liking, you sharing, you commenting, all of those fun things, subscribing, watching those annoying ads, that is helping me be able to provide you with these episodes for free. So I want to thank you ahead of time for the love, for the support, and for your time and attention, being able to tune in and actually absorb what we're in for the next month. So we're coming into August. August is the number 8 month in our calendar, and number 8 brings us a lot of beautiful opportunities to bring peace and harmony back in our lives. Why? Because we've done some dramatic changes. We've shifted our inner realms. We've gone through a lot of darkness, and this is the month that not only we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but that we're lit up, we're sparked up, we're fired up in a brand new way. We have all kinds of energies really opening us up, opening up that heart chakra, aligning us to our higher soul's mission, to the cosmic plan. And this month, we get to not only bring some of the heart and soul-led missions into our physical realities, but we get to integrate and harmonize all of the new elements that we're bringing in and fully say goodbye to all of the elements we had to get rid of in order to create this new, beautiful, clean slate for us to write a brand new story upon. The number 8 is all about renewal, rebirth. Yes, we had to see a lot of death take place in our thinking, in our emotions, in our realities, our relationships. Basically, we ended a part of ourselves, and now we get to transform, rebirthing ourselves into a brand new 2.0 version where we all evolve, we all enlighten, we all ascend to the next level. Now, this is going to be an exciting month. Of course, we come into the month in Leo season. Yeah, we still have a little bit of intensity to build towards that new moon in Leo, that Lionsgate portal taking place on 8/8. We are definitely getting fired up. It might not feel that way because many of us are suffering from the heavier emotions, the heavier ascension symptoms. Why? Because every single time we get an opportunity to boss up, you best believe those darker energies, those darker forces move in to hold us down, keep us in a staying pattern, and of course, have us really anchor into our ego, to our trauma stories. So with that being said, it is going to take a little bit of warrior type energy for us to push through this very, very heavy, dark purging time in order for us to get downloaded with that new light beam, that new energy, that new spark at the 8/8 portal. That's when things are really going to come alive. So of course we have Mercury making a beautiful transit this month into Virgo, its place of power, really going to help us out there to map out new narratives, new plans, new ideas. Think logically, get strategy and calculated moves into play. We're definitely going to need a little bit of a boost there, helping to reorganize and restructure our thoughts. And then Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and joy and money and worth, moves into her place of power in Libra. This is really going to help us rebalance the scales in our lives, get our priorities straight, start really pouring into taking care of ourselves, making ourselves happy, and of course, strengthening the relationships of value that we have definitely figured out at this point that we want to continue to nurture and grow. We have a beautiful opportunity for some serious, deep-seated healing taking place when Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius makes a beautiful aspect with Chiron retrograde in Aries. That is definitely going to help us release and purge some of the fragmented energies, those lower vibrations that we're really struggling to disconnect and detach from. So we're definitely looking towards that event. Now, Uranus, the great awakener, the one that shocks and awes us, disrupts our plans, shows us the greater, grander picture of the vision that we are trying to bring to life, is going to be joining all of the other major heavy hitting planets in a retrograde. Uranus will be retrograding in Tauran energy. This is going to push us that much further inside of our psyche, our heart space, our soul, to make new connections, to have new insights really reveal themselves to us, our inner workings, how it is that we build relationships, how it is that we pour into the skills and talents that we have, how it is that we provide stability in our lives. And of course, a lot of that awareness is going to come from being shook up. We have our second full moon in Aquarius taking place very later on in this particular month, giving us a beautiful opportunity and window of time to really clean the slate. Of course, we had the full moon the first time around in Aquarius last month, and that kind of opened the door to what it is that we had to illuminate ourselves to, where we're no longer aligned, where we're no longer fitting in, where we're no longer excited and passionate about some of the things that we've been pouring our energy into. So this full moon is definitely going to provide us that slamming of the door. Like I said last month, it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And now we reach the full moon in Aquarius at 29 degrees, a critical degree, where we can finally purge, disconnect, detach from the old systems, paradigms, and structures that are preventing us from growing, from evolving, from moving forward for good. Just as the sun moves out of Leo energy and into Virgo energy, and you best believe we're about to come back down to earth after this beautiful time following our heart, our passions, our new desires, speaking up, speaking out, being playful, having fun in Leo energy. It is time to get back down to earth, back down to business. We have a lot of things that we have to put in order before we can jump into this brand new cycle. We have some reorganizing to do, some restructuring to do. We have to focus on our own health and wellness, what makes us tick, what makes us happy, provide a little bit more of a healthy routine, a healthy budget for us to really follow and to stay in the parameters of. It sounds like not so much fun, but it is definitely a needed stage in the zodiac cycle in order for us to put the new elements that we're inviting into our lives in their place. Again, we are building a foundation from scratch, making sure that each building block is strong enough, is even, is in the right spot in order to house the new reality that we are looking to build on top of this foundation moving forward. By the time the month is over, the Mercury will be moving out of its place of power in Virgo and moving into Libra, helping us to balance our perspective, to really look inside the way that we think, how it is that we are kind of communicating ourselves, definitely needing a little bit of an adjustment period to adapt to these new realities, these new energies, before we can even figure out how it is that we think and how it is that we feel. We're likely going to be illuminated to some extreme ways of thinking, some extreme situations where we have to express ourselves in order to find the peace, the harmony, the middle, the grounding point, and of course, stand up for ourselves because we recognize a different level of our own self-worth. So that is August in a nutshell. I really hope that you are going to enjoy how I'm going to break these Astro Tarot forecasts down. I'm going to ask that you check in the notes below this video, and I'm going to put time markers on, of course, each zodiac. I do recommend that, if you have the time, you have the interest, that you listen to this whole episode all the way through. We all have these energies in our chart. It all affects a different sector of our lives depending on our chart. And of course, I drop as much tidbits of info throughout all of my sessions, all of my readings, all of my forecasts to just help the cause. But if you're limited, I would really recommend that at least you follow your sun, your moon, and your rising sun sign. That is going to give you the best overall picture on what it is that you can expect moving into August, and of course, taking full advantage of all the different energies at play. So, with all that being said, let's jump into it. I am going to start off with Leo because we are in Leo season. So sit back, relax, get a notepad ready, tune in, and let's see what this month has in store. So first off, my Leo friends, y'all have been going through your dark season. It's been a very trying last 3 months, going through the purge, going through the reflection, feeling like everything is falling apart, feeling like things are not going to come together. And of course, that is 100% natural for being in your dark season as you approach your birthday. So the best thing that I can provide you with for this particular month, for August, is to allow your mental plane to break down. Yes, you've been going through it. Yes, it's been hard on your mental health, but you have to surrender to the mental breakdown so that you can have a breakthrough. This month is about you bringing your spark back, bringing your life back, bringing you back to the center stage. Everything has gotten a little bit muffled, has gotten a little bit dark and heavy, and now this is time for you to reinvent yourself. You have a new moon in your sign with the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. That is a huge manifesting opportunity for you. This is time for you to retreat just a tad from your external realm, to move inward, to get real with what it is that you want, what it is you need, what it is you desire, what it is that excites you, what it is that makes you happy, and figure out how it is that you are going to rearrange your reality in order to allow those types of things and those types of people to become integrated into your realm on a daily basis, so that you are constantly surrounding yourself with things that bring you happiness and bring you joy. This is a level up in your energy, in your intuition. This is really connecting to your higher self, allowing the surrendering period of who it is that you have been to really fall away. Allow that detachment, allow that disconnection to take place so that you can get out of your own way and start allowing the prayers, the blessings of rewards and abundance to actually find their free flowing way to you. This month, it's going to be about looking at the foundation of what it is that you have created in your home, in your family, in your relationships, in your routine, in your money matters. And it all comes back down to how it is that you're thinking and feeling about yourself. Yes, these last couple of months have been very trying, has been very hard on the heart space, on the mental plane. But now you understand what is angering you, what is frustrating you, what is still hurting you. And from that, you can create a framework on all the things that you want to move away from. And of course, create new intentions, a new framework for all the things that you want to move closer to. This is going to really really require you to get very serious about strengthening your footing, strengthening the foundation that you have created, whether it needs to be tweaked or not, reorganized, restructured or not, in order to be strong enough to actually support, encourage, and house the new dreams, the new vision, the new reality that you're working very hard on actually bringing to life, especially over this next natal year, especially over this next cycle that we are all initiating under the Lionsgate portal. And mostly what we have to understand is that a lot of the pain and trauma that you've accumulated from past situations where personal relationships are concerned, that fragmented energy is still very connected to you. That is what you have to disconnect from. That's what you have to defrag from. And a lot of this shift that you're going to feel, especially towards the end of August, is going to be very focused on your career, leveling up, bossing up, having new opportunities, new roles, new responsibilities to level up to, that of course is going to bring you the financial rewards and stability that you might feel at this point you're currently lacking. The second aspect that's going to be a huge and major focus for you is the fact that you're finally 100% going to be able to close the door for good on some of the relationships that have been sucking the life out of you. You likely would have got illuminated to which relationships need to stay and get strengthened, get nurtured, which ones need to be let go of and disconnected and detached from last month under the full moon in Aquarius, and you're definitely going to have those cords be completely severed once we have the second full moon in Aquarius at the end of this month. So Leo, it is going to be a brand new energy for you to jump into, a brand new energy for you to breathe life back into, to get that spark back, get that passion back, get excited about life again. But of course, you can't do this without understanding your long-term goals. Everything that you're pouring into right now, every ounce of energy, every passion and excitable thing that comes up for you right now has to be built into your day-to-day life, your day-to-day routine, to keep the spark, keep that excitement, keep that passion very much alive and flowing in you. So happy birthday, happy solar return. I hope you take advantage of all the beautiful energy that's coming for you this month. And of course, do your part in making sure that you're keeping your heart and your head aligned with what it is that your soul is asking you to bring to life. So to my Virgo friends out there, how are you doing? I ask that with as much empathy as possible because, of course, you're in your dark season. The last couple of months, of course, have been weighted and very tricky and felt like it was going to just squeeze the life right out of you. But that's what happens as you approach your birthday and as you approach your new solar return year. So you have a little bit of extra time to go. However, the fact that Mars and Venus now in your sign, of course, is trying to bring you back to life, give you a little bit of energy, give you a little bit of gusto to go ahead and start reorganizing the elements in your physical realm to start aligning with what it is that you want to see happen in your new natal year. One of the things that are coming to my attention the most is the fact that you've put in some super hard work. The blood, sweat, and tears have definitely been shed. And I feel like now is an opportunity to give yourself a little tiny bit of a break. And I know you don't like to do that, but it's time for you to create a space to receive. You're always being of service to other people. You're always exerting your energy and your effort to help the greater good, to help the greater cause, to have some kind of impact in someone else's day. And now is the time when you might be struggling to actually see the blessings and rewards come back to you because, of course, you block a lot of the prayers in which you spend a lot of time praying for. Why? Because you won't get out of your own way in order to receive them. Your guides are talking about taking a good look at what's going on in your physical realm as of now and what has gotten out of extreme. There is definitely a want, need, and desire to cut the narrative, the looping narrative that you have allowed to get a little bit of a negative Nancy in your head. Yes, you're coming towards an ending, a closure, an ending of chapters and an ending of cycles, especially emotionally. There is a lot that you have to kind of drop as far as the emotional baggage goes, but it all starts in the mind first. Now, you're going to have a huge help throughout the month of August because Mercury, your ruler, moves into your sign in the first house of yourself, really revamping, renovating, restructuring, reorganizing how it is that you're speaking to yourself, how it is that you're thinking. Again, the self-judgment, the highly critical, tone that you take to yourself. No one is harder on you than you are. You have a lot of energy building up, providing a pressurized point in order for you to see where it is that you need to detach and let go of being there for certain people that are not there for you. There is a huge shakeup and a wake up coming, especially in the month of August, on where it is that you need to reorganize and restructure the foundations of not only your routines, but who it is that you allow to be part of your day-to-day life. This is about the energy exchange, and you've had a hard time lately letting go of certain habits, certain routines that you have very much got stuck in, not realizing that they're outdated. They're no longer supporting the kind of lifestyle that you need in order to put yourself first. You're definitely going to feel the squeeze, feel the push, especially towards the end of August, where you're going to be forced to really kind of reconfigure how it is that you're moving throughout your day-to-day life, how it is that you need to pull back from pouring into other people to reserve enough energy to pour into yourself. You have a lot of ailments asking for your attention in your physical form. And of course, that mind, body, and soul equation has definitely gotten out of whack when trying to put other people's wants, needs, and desires before your own. Entering into Virgo season, of course, is going to trigger you coming back to life. That doesn't happen until the end of August. And of course, there's going to be a major focus on you allowing new cycles to begin, especially where your heart space is concerned. There's been a restructuring and a reorganization in your home, in your family, who it is that you actually allow to get that close to you. There's a lot of family dynamics that are changing, needing to be rearranged in order to balance the scales in the energy exchange that you allow to take place in your home and in your personal relationships. I feel like even though right now listening to this, you're probably running out of steam, you're probably losing confidence, you're probably unable to think and feel the change that is coming, but just trust me, with a little bit more time and a little bit more of an open mind, you will see how things are rapidly changing right before your very eyes. So just give a little bit more patience. Just give yourself a little bit more kindness. You only have about another month to go before you're going to be re-energized by that solar infusion at the time of your birthday. And of course, that is going to download you with all kinds of new energies, passions, and excitements in order to follow through and to chase through your natal year. So Libra, you definitely have some major life lessons taking place throughout the month of August. I'll give you some keywords to focus on: balancing the scales before creating something new, and having everything you need at your fingertips and within you that you absolutely are still in search of, thinking that everything is outside of you. It's not. It's within you. And unfortunately, you're going to have a couple of tough love life lessons this month, especially because you just entered into your dark season as you approach your birthday. Things tend to fall apart. Things tend to push us inside of ourselves so that we can reflect on the past year that we had, figure out what it is that we're aligned with, what it is we need to move away from, and what it is we want to create for the next cycle. So you're definitely going to be feeling the squeeze. There's going to be a new illumination for you where it is that you need to create a new goal, a new dream, a new vision for yourself, Why? Because some of those details that you had even 6 months ago, they have fallen apart. You're no longer aligned with it. You're not feeling excited about it anymore. Now, one good thing that you can look forward to in the month of August is the fact that Venus, your ruler, is moving into Libra mid-August, so the 16th. This is going to be illuminating your first house of self, meaning you're going to be able to appear like you are happy, appear like you're feeling good, appear like you are your newest version, but it is just an appearance. You do have some soul searching to go before your inside is going to kind of match the visual in which you are going to be projecting out into the world. This is almost like a fake it till you make it scenario, but the thing is that right now you're still seeking validation outside of yourself. You are going to have a couple of dramatic situations take place throughout the month of August where your heart chakra is going to be activated by some very personal and intimate relationship issues. There has been a lot of pain that you have been carrying forward into your present moment, preventing you from truly connecting with those that you love and blocking you from a lot of the prayers, a lot of the blessings that you have been praying for. That heart chakra, again, has built up a lot of very thick walls in order to protect itself from pain, from harm, from trauma based off of past events. And now you're kind of recognizing that it's blocking the joy, the happiness, and the blessings too. So there is going to be a certain death that needs to take place, recognizing first and foremost where you have allowed permission for those negative narratives to continue to loop in your head, keeping you in a state of pain, keeping you in a state of thinking that the past is going to repeat itself. And when you have that aha moment of awareness, that is when that part of you will die, creating a beautiful opportunity for you to rebirth yourself, renew yourself, especially in your beliefs, especially in your heart space. And of course, that heart space is going to be fully illuminated under the full moon in Aquarius, where you will likely have to cut the cord for good on some of the emotional baggage that you've been continuously carrying into the present moment. Let me tell you, the minute that you open your heart chakra up, you will see that a brand new dream, a brand new vision, a brand new life force is being kind of sparked within you in order to bring a new reality into this physical realm. And again, you have everything you need to start fresh, everything you need to prepare you for this next cycle. However, your mental game is what is preventing you from truly aligning with this next path. I think that by the end of August, you will be thinking in a totally different narrative. I think that your thinking has gotten a little bit dark, a little bit extreme in the last couple of months, which is absolutely normal for this particular season that you're in. However, there are going to be some heart activations and some mental plane aha moments of awareness that are totally going to change the game for you. Just remember, you have to be pressurized in order to be the shiniest diamond that there ever was. And trust me, you are going to sparkle all throughout this month. Even if you're not feeling it on the inside, people will be magnetically attracted to you because you're portraying a different vibration than you're actually feeling on the inside. And again, it is not a problem to fake it till you make it. So Libra, you need to work on where it is that you've been living in extremes. Bring that back into balance first and foremost. You cannot bring in a new cycle, a new relationship, a new career, a new project based off of the mess that is currently kind of alive in your realm as of now. Clean up the mess first, provide a clean slate, balance the scales between your heart and your head, and then set your intentions to manifest a brand new life, a brand new reality, a brand new cycle that you would be excited and happy to be living by the time your birthday arrives. So all my Scorpio friends out there have definitely seen a huge dramatic shift and change especially in the roles and responsibilities connected to or surrounding the career. There has been some high peaks of energy where many of my Scorpio friends were pushed out of the dark shadows in order to stand in the limelight and, of course, share their perspective, their wisdom, their experience in a narrative that, of course, will resonate with other people and provide a like-minded community where we can all help heal one another as we go through this journey. The great alchemist of the zodiac, of course, is the Scorpio. And as we've been kind of elevating our own vibrations, as Scorpios have been pouring into themselves and really pushing themselves outside of their comfort zones to see what it is that they're actually capable of, that vibration is just reverberating through the cosmos, helping us, of course, to raise the vibration of Gaia and of humanity. Now, there is a huge attention moving throughout the month of August to really get down to earth, roll up your sleeves, and really get your hands dirty where bringing certain projects to life are concerned. Many of my Scorpio friends are so caught up in their headspace, analyzing every single detail, thinking about all the different ways that it could happen, all the different ways that it could go, that they get paralyzed in a state of nothingness where, of course, nothing gets done, nothing comes alive, nothing actually gets birthed into this physical realm. There is a want, a need, a desire to really work on foundations in our physical realms this month. We've had a lot of changes in our home and our family dynamics. We've had a lot of changes in our careers that, of course, has affected our money matters. And now we're getting very serious on realizing where it is that stability is needed in our lives. And of course, having a solid footing to operate off of in our home, in our career, within ourselves is a great starting place to actually see what it is that we're happy with and what it is we need to bring to life from here. Now, you're going to get a huge release point of some of the things that you have been tied up with, trying to really release. Many of my Scorpio friends have been pouring into projects or relationships for the last 2 to 3 years that have suddenly just come to an end. We no longer feel aligned with certain things. We no longer feel excited about certain things. We have new passions, new callings, new purpose in order for us to fulfill. And there's a first quarter moon taking place in Scorpio on the 15th of August, which will help us clearly define what it is that we are just beating a dead horse about, what it is that we're trying to continue to pour life into that just doesn't need to live any longer. Now, pay attention to what is going on for you this month as relationship dynamics are going to change. There's a couple of reasons for that. Venus moving into Libra is going to be illuminating your 12th house, where endings have to take place, especially certain patterns, certain habits, certain memories coming up from past relationships that have created a lasting trauma bond, a lasting pain pattern in your mental plane, and of course in your heart space and in your soul space. To add to that, we're going to have a pressurized system kind of move in, really putting the pressure on our mental plane to release those old memories, mostly because there's been a lot of trauma within the home and family dynamic. This has had a major contributing factor to our mental health, which of course trickles down to our physical health. And there are new physical ailments coming up in our physical form that's really suggesting where we've allowed our mental health and our spiritual health get out of balance. Speaking of out of balance, Uranus will be going retrograde in Taurus, which illuminates the 7th house, relationships, the energy exchange with how it is we share ourselves with other people. And this is definitely going to shake things up, awaken us to a new perspective where some people got to stay, some people got to go. My Scorpio friends are very guarded with who they allow to share space with them, share energy with them. And some people have gotten a free pass just because of the length of time that us Scorpios pour into certain relationships when realistically we don't feel connected anymore. This is going to have a major impact on the home and family dynamic and how we are going to detach, disconnect from our current unit and foundation, especially under the full moon in Aquarius, shaking up that fourth house, really showing us where new boundaries need to be implemented in order to take care of ourselves. And that will have a huge reverberation throughout how the family is currently functioning and how it is that we are going to kind of create space in some relationships that are no longer needed. Now, pay attention to how it is that you are thinking and feeling around that full moon towards the end of the month, because I tell you, it is going to shake things up and bring out the darkness that you are well versed in. It is going to really put you in a pressurized position where there could be a lot of disappointment or worry, especially around money matters, especially around the dramatic change that needs to take place in your physical environment, especially where physical relationships are concerned. And that could trigger a lot of depression, a lot of negativity. We have to be very careful because this is Scorpio's last month before moving into the dark season. As we move towards Scorpio season, we have to release, we have to purge, we have to surrender. So overall, Scorpio, I would definitely recommend that you put every ounce of attention into manifesting what it is that you want to boss up to in your career and where it is that you can kind of let your guard down a little bit more in your personal relationships. The disconnect that you have been feeling, the retreat that you have been feeling, it does have to come to an end after the 8-8 portal, where we have to reconnect not only our heart and our head and our soul within us, but we have to allow those connections outside of us to actually have a place to be strengthened and to be nurtured. So my Sagittarian friends are riding high off of this Leo season, your fire sister sign, of course. Fires you up, revs you up. You're ready to party. You're ready to go on an adventure. You're ready to explore. That is an awesome energy to have, especially moving out of what has been a very chaotic last couple of months for you. And now with this new moon, Leo energy, with this Lionsgate portal coming up, you best believe that you're going to feel a mental shift like no other, and you're going to start getting excited about life again. I know you've been stalled out. I know you've been held back and feeling really restricted in what it is that you've been able to do with your energy, with your curiosity, with this next chapter. I know there's a lot of questions on your mind on what it is that you're going to be doing as we enter into the fall. There's a lot of changes taking place, and especially about what it is you want to do with your career. A lot of my Sag friends have been bored with what it is that they've been doing, thinking about jumping roles, jumping responsibilities, jumping industries, just to spice things up once again. And although it is prime time in order to really decide on what it is that you're being called away from and what it is that you're being called to, you really do have to give yourself the time to quiet your environment, move inward, and really align with your higher self. There's a lot of clarity that is currently lacking at this point because you're trying to distract yourself with excitement outside of your inner realm. Your ruler, Jupiter, just retrograded back into Aquarius, putting a lot of pressure for you to rework, rethink what your dreams were, what your goals were, what your vision was just at the beginning of the year. You're going to have a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to really revisit what makes you excited, what makes you happy, what piques your curiosity, what do you want to learn next? There's a huge releasing point of recognizing that now you get an opportunity to do what is right for you, to honor your heart, what makes you excited, what makes you happy. But of course, that brings a lot of conflict into your realm as you're still kind of trying to contemplate what you think everybody else wants you to do. You're going to have a shake up and a wake up call in your day-to-day life, in your routine, because I think that what you're currently dreaming about, what you're currently trying to manifest in your realm is so outside of what it is that you're currently doing. I think you've gotten stuck in a rut. And so your health and your wellness needs to be put back on the top of the list, especially your mental health, because again, you're keeping yourself distracted by other people's problems and outside situations instead of taking the time to move inward and get very clear on what it is that you're actually trying to build towards. You are going to feel a lot of mental pressure be released under that full moon in Aquarius that is going to be illuminating your third house of the mental plane. There's a lot of information coming in through the month of August for you. Little details they're going to trigger whether you need to stay on the path that you're currently walking or whether you need to switch directions altogether. Yes, that's going to create a lot of uncertainty in you, but by the time August is over, I truly believe that you are going to have a lot more clarity on A, the options that you actually have, B, what options actually spark excitement and joy in you, and C, when you quiet your external realm long enough for you to move inwards, what it is that feels right, what it is that your higher self is asking of you, what it is that your intuition feels very, very strong about. So you're definitely going to have a huge opportunity to move inward and get a little bit more clear on the details that are a little bit muddy right now. I think because you've had such a dramatic shift in your life, especially since your birthday, with, changing environments and changing careers, changing, just the overall excitement and direction in your life, I feel like things didn't have a chance to settle. And now things are just starting to settle, just starting to integrate. And now you're questioning whether or not this feels good, whether or not this feels right. I feel like you're lacking something. And with all this fire energy of Leo season, you're really hot to trot. You just want to have fun. You want to connect. You want to go on new adventures. And that is a very short-term goal. Your guides at this particular point are asking you, yes, okay, you've been through some shit. You don't want to repeat the same past patterns and behaviors, but what does that mean for you right now? What does that mean for you in 6 months? What do you want to accomplish before your birthday? So this is going to be a little bit of a confusing time because, again, you are more comfortable distracting yourself with everybody else's situation and problems just so that you don't have to sit with yourself, by yourself, and look into yourself. And that is what you're being called to do. To all my Capricorns out there, my goodness, I send you my love. This is a very difficult time for Capricorns because it took y'all so many months to actually decide that yes, a change was needed. Yes, I need to abandon a certain path. Yes, I need to open up a new cycle. And as if that wasn't hard enough, just when you've actually made the decision, it feels like you are running into brick wall after brick wall. Nothing seems to be coming together. And the longer it actually takes in order for you to start seeing a little bit of evidence of the new cycles that you've been trying to manifest actually begin, the more you get depressed, the more you get frustrated, the more you get irritable. Now, this new moon in Leo, this Lionsgate portal on 8/8 is activating your 8th house. This is your death, rebirth, and transformation sector. So what this tells me is that, you know what, things have gotten really dark. They've gotten very heavy. The frustration is absolutely building, but I think that this is going to be a beautiful releasing point where, yeah, you're going to have to muddy through the lower energies, the lower vibrations, but then a beautiful breakthrough is definitely going to take place. I feel like you've been very hard on yourself lately. I feel like you're pushing yourself to a state of exhaustion, both mentally and emotionally. I feel like you really are going to have to work very hard throughout the month of August to balance the scales, especially where your career is concerned. I feel like most of my Capricorn friends throw themselves into work, mostly so that they can avoid some of the emotional situations that they want to put on the back burner. There are new relationship dynamics coming up, new energy exchanges that need to take place. And for the most part, as long as my Capricorn friends have a task, has a physical project to do where they can actually see the productivity and the reward for their time and their effort, they're much easier to consume themselves with the roles and responsibilities of their career than the emotional roles and responsibilities that they have to their loved ones. So there is going to come a very fine point, a balancing act, if you will, where, the home and the family dynamic, the home environment is changing. New boundaries need to be put in place in order to balance the scales so that you have enough time to not only pour into your career, but to pour into your home life. This has been a little bit of a push and pull, a little bit of a struggle, especially for the last 2.5 years. Of course, we all want to get to a point of success, but not at the cost of your personal relationships. You will feel a little bit of a wake-up call where there is a lot of things pulling on your heartstrings, especially towards the end of the month. I feel like you're going to try and think your way through these feelings, and that is not something that is possible at this time. You're actually going to create more of an energy block within yourself if you try to think logically and practically your way through an emotion that cannot be explained. The full moon in Aquarius is definitely going to highlight for you where new routines need to be initiated, where new time, energy, and effort needs to be poured into certain relationships, of course, that you will deem of value when you go through this particular push and pull by the end of the month. I do feel that you are going to have to kind of accept the fact that things are not moving as fast as you would like. Things are not developing as fast as you would like. And although you have made the decision to jump into initiating new cycles, especially where new relationships are concerned, a lot of my Capricorn friends are looking for new places to live because they no longer jive with the environment in which they've created for themselves. Do not let the speed of your new cycles actually beginning get to you. There is a huge probability, especially mid-month towards the end of the month, that you are going to cause yourself more mental anguish than actually needs to happen. Trying to make sense of the why, the how, all of that is going to put a damper on the energy that you need to be opened up to at this point. And the more you get negative, the more negative things are going to happen to you. I want to be able to say that moving into September is going to be a better month for you, especially once we enter into Virgo energy, a sister earth sign to you. You're going to be able to manifest this new reality, these new elements a lot quicker. I don't feel that you're going to see much change while Leo season is still alive and well, because this is about you really moving inward, seeing what your heart actually wants, kind of mulling through the emotions of all the changes that you are expecting to happen, probably yesterday. But again, this is an emotional time for you, which you are trying to avoid at all costs. And the longer that you put this off, the more painful and uncomfortable it's going to be in your mental plane. So you have to get through the bulk of August before you're actually going to see pieces come together. And again, I don't see a whole lot happening for you in this physical realm where the changes are physically taking place until we enter into Virgo season. And again, that is an earth energy that will help you manifest all the elements that you've already decided need to change in your life. My Aquarian friends are likely feeling a huge push and pull within them. We just had Jupiter move back into Aquarius. Of course, Saturn is already in Aquarius. We had last month's full moon in Aquarius, this month's full moon in Aquarius. You best believe that you must be rewinding and reconsidering your choices, especially where your personal relationships are concerned. This new moon in Leo, this 8/8 Lionsgate portal is illuminating your 7th house. Your 7th house is your personal relationships and how it is that you share yourself with other people. My Aquarian friends have been having a hard time disconnecting and fully detaching from some toxic relationships. This has been ongoing. They had a huge opportunity to release and disconnect and detach around their birthday. However, many of my Aquarian friends chose to stay in the same cycle, chose to repeat life lessons, and chose not to evolve just yet. However, that doesn't mean that you're a lost cause by any means. There is a lot of information and illumination coming to the forefront this month that is going to show you where it is that you need to cut ties for good. There's a lot of details that are being missed because, of course, you don't want to see the red flags. And unfortunately, most of my Aquarian friends need things to just burst into flames before they realize that, there's danger. A lot of my Aquarian friends are facing the fact that there is a pivotal point coming up in their careers. I feel like there's been a lot of confusion around whether or not you're doing what it is that you're supposed to do, what it is that you're being called to do. Many of my Aquarian friends are no longer aligned or excited about what it is that they've been doing and really kind of lacking the luster that they once had for what it is that they've been pouring into. Now, you're going to have a huge opportunity to release some of the blocks that you yourself have created because of your perspective, because of the mental narrative that you allow to loop in your head. And this has a lot to do with how it is that you want people to see you instead of truly showing up as your authentic self. Now, your ruler, Uranus, is going to go retrograde in Taurus, and this is going to be a huge wake-up call to your home, to your family dynamic. Now, a lot of my Aquarian friends have been really struggling to keep it together in your home life. There are boundaries that are constantly being tested. There are boundaries that are constantly being broken, and none of this is doing you a huge emotional favor. You are being left depleted and on the wrong end of the stick. That being said, there's a huge awakening that has to happen within you where it is that your self-worth, your self-value is actually keeping you in these holding patterns. And it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, but an absolutely necessary one for you to actually swallow before the second full moon in Aquarius in your sign. 29 degrees in the first house of self. You best believe that your image, the way that you're presenting yourself, the way that you actually feel about yourself is going to be illuminated, and you're going to have to release a lot of the falsities that you find comfort in. What does that mean? It means that you have been projecting out an image of what it is that you think people want you to be. And that is creating a huge energetic block for you at this time to align with your true authentic self. You are lacking in standing in your own true power because you're giving your power away to what you think other people think of you. Now, you have a huge opportunity to shift the scales here. I'm going to tell you, especially towards the end of August, you move into the rebirthing stage, the renewal stage. And yes, death has to happen in order for there to be a clean slate for new things to actually take place. I feel like this is connected not only to your career, but also to a personal relationship. And I think that one actually impacts the other. A lot of times this is due to the financial burden that one would feel if we were to break away from a certain relationship. That would mean that we were only dependent on one particular income, especially if you're no longer feeling aligned with your career and what it is that you do to create an income for yourself. This is going to be a huge mental month for you. You have to kind of step away from the outside world. You have to move inward and get really real with yourself, with what your heart is asking of you, with what your intuition is trying to tell you. Because as much as you don't want to do it, as much as you've known now for over a year and a half that some cycles, some relationships, some jobs, some roles, some responsibilities have to end, there is going to be a final ending provided to you by the end of this month. So find yourself in a celebratory mode where you can look at all that you've gone through, all that you've endured, and ask yourself, do I want to continue by just holding on to dear life, to the things that are old, things that are familiar, because I can predict how I can handle them when they happen? Or am I actually going to follow my heart, my new calling, my new purpose, and put myself out there in a new territory where I'm not able to predict what is going to happen? For someone who is always craving freedom and always craving independence and space, you sure are caught up on a lot of people and a lot of projects that haven't allowed you to be your true, authentic self. So Pisces, I know things got crazy over the last couple of months. I know that things happened in your home, in your family dynamic, especially with those that you love, that has affected them a little bit more than they've affected you. But just seeing someone that you love go through something that you can't help them with and can't really control has been a huge weight on your heart space and now affecting your physical health. The new moon in Leo, the 8-8 portal, that Lion's Gate energy, is illuminating your 6th house. This is asking you to step away, to see where it is that you have been too giving, too much of service, too available to everyone else, and of course, totally ignoring your own health and wellness. This is a time for you to get real. This is a time for you to stop ignoring the physical ailments that are popping up in your physical body that is indicating to you where it is that you are out of balance in your spiritual practice and in your mental health. This is a time for you to move inward. This is a time for you to step away from the roles and responsibilities that you have committed to in your external realm to other people, and to give yourself permission to nurture yourself back to a state of stability. There's a lot going on in your personal relationships. The energy exchange and what it is that you're giving and what it is that you're actually receiving back is totally out of whack. And a lot of that is because, again, you have no boundaries. You don't know where you should draw the line, where your energy ends and somebody else's energy begins. You're going to have a beautiful opportunity when Venus moves into Libra, illuminating your 8th house, to really balance the scales, put your own self-love into yourself, get your own self-values, your own self-worth back up to a level where you're actually putting yourself on the list. My Piscean friends have discluded themselves from the list of nurturing over the past couple of months, and it has not been doing any kind of service to your overall spiritual and mental health. Now you're going to have an opportunity to shake things up and create new routines and new foundations where your relationships are concerned, to rebalance the scales of energy. This is really going to provide you with a huge healing opportunity for yourself. Now recognizing that you can't heal other people if they do not want to be healed, but you sure as hell cannot continue to pour into other people if they are not pouring into you. This is almost like a brand new cycle for you. This is an opportunity for you to kind of get your bearings back. You are going to be shook up a little bit in order for you to see where it is you need to change your thinking and change your focus. You've been pouring a lot of time, energy, and attention into other people's healing journeys, not recognizing that you haven't been operating from a full cup yourself, which is only going to deplete you in your own life force. That full moon in Aquarius is taking place in the 12th house that you naturally rule over. Not only is this a time for moving inwards and aligning with your higher self in order to heal, this is about you getting a little bit more disciplined in incorporating your spiritual practice in each and every day so that you can remain strong and stable and grounded enough to actually be of service to help other people in their healing journey. Now, you are going to get a huge shakeup, a huge wake-up call towards the end of August, where you're really going to have to decide who and what is worth it. There's going to be a little bit of a battle between your heart and your head, recognizing that you can't control circumstances, not only in your own life, but circumstances in the lives of the people that you love. There is a certain knowing that you have within you because you are so connected to your intuition that you have to surrender to the process, that there's always a bigger life lesson taking place here, and that you, as much as you want to write the script, you are not the writer of this particular stage, this particular chapter. There is a certain element where you are having to learn the hard way through watching the people that you love struggle through a certain chapter that is really kind of reverberating back to you all of the times, all of the places inside your heart, inside your head that you felt out of control, that you felt unstable, that you felt too overwhelmed, you felt unbalanced. This is going to really hit you like a ton of bricks in order for you to rebalance the scales between your energy exchanges and where you kind of reserve enough energy for yourself and not continue to pour from an empty cup. This is your judgment day. You have the ability to set the tone for the next cycle. But if you choose to continuously put other people's wants, needs, and desires before your own, you are going to continue to suffer. You are too strong. You are too powerful to allow that to happen. You are the natural healer of the zodiac. However, healers need to be healed too. And you have all the magic within you, all the resources, all the knowledge, all the wisdom within you. In order to heal yourself, you just have to give yourself permission to put yourself back to the top of the list. To my Arian friends, I bet you're feeling good. Yes, Leo season being a sister fire sign to you is definitely putting you in your prime. You're fired up, you're ready to go, you have new passions, new desires to actually be excited about, and you're doing some unbelievable healing work, especially on your heart space. That new moon in Leo, that Lionsgate portal on 8/8 is illuminating the 5th house for you, which is that heart chakra. I feel like you've really done a beautiful job on trying to discern what it is that you're still excited about, that still lights your fire, that still makes you a little bit giddy. And of course, doing the hard work to kind of get rid of some of that dead weight, some of that baggage that you've just been dragging into the present moment, into your present relationships, day after day after day. I feel like the playful side of you has come back, which is a welcome change, especially since your birthday. Things didn't get off to quite the start that you were imagining for your new natal year. However, I think that there has been detours. I feel like there has been new revelations that have come forth that has totally made you understand at this point, looking back, why certain things didn't happen, why you got detoured in such the way that you did when you were so passionate and fired up about seeing things come together. A lot of this has to do with the energy exchange that I think that you're becoming a little bit more aware of, especially in your personal relationships. Many of my Arian friends are leaders. They want to take charge. They want to lead the charge. They want to lead the pack. However, knowing that, fire energy tends to burn out a lot quicker than any other energy, I feel like there's been a huge lesson in how it is that you need to monitor yourself, really holding back from truly pouring all your energy into something without ever getting to that end goal, burning out far before you ever see the end result of all of that energy. Now, Venus moving into Libra is going to be highlighting your 7th house, which is your relationships. And although, it's always good to pour into yourself, to follow your own heart, to discern what it is that you want, need, and desire, I feel like since your birthday, you have been putting yourself first. And I'm not going to say to a whole huge detriment to other people, but I feel like now the tables need to shift back on restabilizing, nurturing, and really pushing the boundaries of the growth in your personal relationships. That being said, you're going to have a little bit of a wake-up call when Uranus actually goes retrograde, affecting your 2nd house. Now, this is going to kind of disrupt your current routine. It's likely going to disrupt your finances, mostly because what you've been doing for work is coming to an end. There's new soul missions, new soul purposes that are coming to the forefront in order for you to follow. And because you are now honed in, focused in on new goals and new visions that you want to bring to life, you're definitely starting to see what it is that you need to leave behind, what it is that needs to change, what it is that you need to defrag as far as your mental perspective goes. Now, that full moon in Aquarius taking place towards the end of the month is truly illuminating for you, especially rewinding to your birthday. Some of the dreams, some of the goals, some of the visions that you were hyped up about that just are no longer exciting. Again, there's been so many different detours. A lot of them have been disappointing to you, but I feel like as of right now, you're starting to understand why those particular events had to happen, because it means that you're in this particular spot with this particular mind frame, and that is 100% needed for the new cycle that you're about to move into. Speaking of that new cycle, it is going to require you to pour a little bit more time and attention in taking care of your physical health. That mind, body, and soul equation is a little bit out of whack, mostly because you've been working so hard to be there for other people, to lead the charge, to be the leader of the pack. And of course, your particular health and wellness has kind of gotten pushed to the wayside. So there is going to be a little bit of a push towards the end of August for you to take a time out, for you to retreat from your external realm, for you to move inward, get in touch with that higher self again, just to see where it is that you're at, where it is that you're still being sparked and fueled up to follow new passions, follow new desires, follow what's in your heart as far as a new calling goes, and really recognize that it's time to pour that energy back into yourself. There are some amazing things about to emerge for you, but you're not in the right mental frame, especially in some of your relationships right now, to welcome that new energy in. There is a little bit of a calling, if you will, to restabilize what is working in your life before adding new elements to it. So Aries, I would definitely recommend that, yes, you continue to raise the vibration, you continue to follow your heart, you continue to really define what it is that now excites you, that now you are passionate about, and that you also work very hard at balancing the scales and paying a little bit more attention to the important relationships in your life that have kind of taken a back seat to support you in this next push, in this next cycle of bringing something to life. Those people need to kind of be nurtured, need to be validated, need to be brought up to speed, and just let them be a part of it. This is no longer a solo adventure moving into this next cycle. You are going to need a team. You are going to need a support system. So it's time to take a time out from leading the charge and turning around and actually seeing the amount of people, not only that are following your leadership, but are there to encourage you, to support you, and to kind of help build you towards the new dream and the new vision that you're looking to manifest. So Taurus, are you ready for this month? Most of you would likely say no, because I feel like you are feeling this new energy building. It is creating a new spark, a new life force within you that is unfamiliar. And of course, being a fixed sign, being somebody that is very used to sticking to the same old, staying in that rut, even if it's uncomfortable. I feel like the predictability of all that you've created is a comfort zone that you're not going to be able to live in while you move through the month of August. First and foremost, there's been a lot of family disruption. There's been a lot of loss. There's been a lot of disconnection with some of the personal relationships, and mostly the family dynamic is changing. The foundation of what the family relationship actually looks like is changing, and it has waged a very heavy war on your heart, especially since the beginning of the year. The good news is that the new moon in Leo, the Lionsgate portal on 8/8, is illuminating the fourth house, which is the home, which is the family dynamics. It's recognizing where new relationships are emerging because of the relationships that have basically been disconnected and surrendered. This is a very emotional time, which I know you would rather avoid. However, The mind frame that you've been in, focused on the lack, focused on the loss, focused on things will never be the same, is now kind of standing to the side in order for you to really pour into all of the silver linings of that, where the stronger relationships are emerging, where new roles and responsibilities in the home and family are asking you to kind of focus on the positive, focus on strengthening and nurturing the relationships that are still in existence, and really seeing how, yes, it is painful to see the family change in the way that it has, but also very beautiful on where it is that we are rising to the occasion. Now, this is going to be a very turbulent month emotionally for you, which again, I know upsets you in a lot of ways because you can't predict your emotions. You can't make sense of them. They're not practical, and that doesn't bode very well for you. However, routines are going to get disrupted in order for you to realize that maybe the old routines weren't doing you any favors. There is going to be a brand new focus on kind of incorporating some elements in your day-to-day life that's more supportive of your spiritual, emotional, and mental health. That mind, body, and soul equation is coming up for renewal, and you really have to start focusing on pouring good into your life. What makes you happy? What makes you feel worthy? What makes you feel of value? And that has to be poured into both in the mind, body, and soul aspect. There's going to be a huge healing point of release, especially with some of the pain and trauma bonds that have been surrendered over the past year, really affecting your karma. Again, this is all about perspective. And because you've been focused on the lack of the scarcity type of perspective, I feel like it is a major shift in your energy, in your mind, body, and soul taking over in order for you to now be focused on what is left, what we can strengthen, what we can nurture, what we can build upon. Now, Uranus is going to go retrograde in Taurus in your first house of self. And this is basically pushing you inward, awakening you to seeing a different perspective in how you float throughout your day, in how it is that you're using your skills and talents to the best of your ability to create financial safety and security in you. But mostly, this is going to be a month where you really start recognizing the value and the worth of the people that you choose to share your life with. That full moon in Aquarius is going to be illuminating for you the changes, the roles, the responsibility change that has taken place in your career. I feel like many of my Tauran friends have been committed to the same roles and responsibilities, the same type of job for so many years. And there's a little bit of a switch up coming, which I know you're going to be hesitant about. But at the same time, I think it's going to be something that you actually catch a good vibe on. It's going to be something that is more suited to you. Yes, it's outside of your comfort zone, but I think you're going to click in very well, catch on very quickly. And really, it's going to allow a new excitement, a new spark to actually take place for you to get excited about what it is that you do again. The main focus for you this month is focusing on what it is that you have. What it is you have as far as your family goes, what it is that you have as far as your financial stability goes, what it is that you have in your home and your family environment. And again, working very hard to switch out of the negative and scarcity vibe and into the positive and abundant vibe. By the end of the month, you are going to see a brand new heart space, a brand new emotional cycle take over, because again, this is going to be an emotionally triggering month for you. Really pulling on those heartstrings in order to bust you out of the very stone-faced image that you like to portray, really pushing the boundaries on what it is that you are willing to face as far as the emotional baggage goes. And of course, recognizing that your mental health has been suffering based off of the negative narrative that you've allowed to actually run in your head. This is going to be a beautiful time for you to look at what is actually working in your life, what it is that you're grateful for, what it is that you've actually brought into reality, and what it is that you want to pour into and continue to nurture and continue to grow. So, my Gemini friends, It has been quite a struggle since your birthday to actually get things off the ground and start initiating some of the changes that you've definitely been thinking about, that you've definitely allowed to consume your mind. The problem is that yes, you want change. Yes, you want new elements coming into your life, but you've been overly attached to the old, not realizing that you have to create a space for the new to enter, and you can't just wait for the new to enter and then let go of the old. There's a lot of mental defragging that has to take place and will take place under the new moon in Leo. This Lionsgate 8-8 portal is affecting your third house that Gemini naturally rules over. This is your mental plane. This is new information in disrupting the perspective that you currently have into a better perspective for you to actually work with. And of course, is triggering you to speak up and to speak out about the emotions that you've been holding in that technically should have been spoken out loud many, many moons ago. Now, you're going to get a huge amount of help this month when Mercury, your ruler, moves into Virgo, your sister sign energy. Mercury rules the both of you. And so the best thing for you to have outside of Mercury being in your sign is Mercury being in Virgo. This is going to illuminate your fourth house for you. This means that, you know what, you've been doing the best that you can. There's been a lot of chaos going on in the home, in the family dynamic. Yes, boundaries have been tested, and in some cases they've been completely destroyed, and you just haven't had enough energy, attention, or focus to actually address it. I feel like for the most part, my Gemini friends have been going against themselves, really not speaking out when they should. And that is not something that comes very naturally to you. You're supposed to be vocal. You're supposed to be speaking your truth. You're supposed to be kind of sharing your thoughts and your feelings with those that need to hear it. But because you have been very attached to the old, very scared of what the new would actually bring, I feel like you've been hesitating, speaking some very strong and solid truth, especially to some family members that have totally taken advantage of you, totally put themselves in the center of your universe. And unfortunately, you have to accept the fact that you allowed that to happen. Things need to get shook up a little bit in order for things to be rearranged. And I feel like you really need to listen to your heart space, especially mid-month when Venus moves into Libra, illuminating the fifth house of your heart chakra. This is time for you to roar like the lion in which you are. This is time for you to honor your truth. This is time for you to lower the walls that you've built around your heart space. You cannot continue to pray for love and romance and intimacy in your existing relationships or in the new ones that you're looking to attract if you have this very hard, tall, solid wall built up around yourself. You have to recognize where it is that you need to get out of your own way. And a lot of that is recognizing that, you know what, it's okay to change your mind. The things that you came into this year hoping to bring to life, they didn't come to life. That's okay. The things that you were excited about, that you thought you were going to start and initiate around your birthday that haven't come to life yet, that's okay. You're given an opportunity this month to revamp, rewrite, re-edit your dreams and your vision. But that requires you to go inward. That requires you to step outside of yourself, to disconnect from your exterior realm, to close the chatter, to close the mind down in order to listen to your intuition, to your heart space. Now, you best believe you're going to be illuminated to all kinds of things that you need to end, that you need to disconnect with for good, and that you need to stop blocking your intuition. Many of my Gemini friends have such a strong intuition that you all kind of turn the other way from thinking that you know better. You have to understand you're always going to be divided. There's always going to be a debate between your heart and your head. You have one foot in the ethereal realm and one foot in this earthly realm. And for the most part, you all let your logic and practicality of this egoic identity rule the roost. It's time for you to shut that down a little bit and to let your intuition and your heart space lead. You are definitely going to be pressurized, especially towards the end of August, to rearrange, restructure, rebuild, reorganize your home, the family in it. how you guys flow through your day, how the energy exchange in those personal relationships are going to go. There's a huge amount of healing that has to take place, but you have to let your guard down. You have to be vulnerable. You have to let people know how it is you think and how it is that you feel. I do feel like you are going to be aligned with a new sense of purpose, a new sense of fire within you. I do believe that by the end of the month, you are going to be looking out upon the next cycle that you want to initiate, having cleared the air, closing the door, shutting the book on old topics and old themes, especially where old romantic relationships are constantly rewinding, re-looping in your head, preventing you from truly being honest and vulnerable with the people that you're looking to actually connect with in the here and in the now. To all my Cancer friends, my goodness, I bet out of everyone, you're happy that your season is now over. It's never okay. It never feels good to start fresh again, to start new cycles, especially where we are illuminated around your birthday to all of the old memories, all of the old attachments, making it very hard to start fresh and to cut the cycle clean. Now, that being said, this is the first month in your natal year, which, you have your life force back. Now, what are you going to do with it? That new moon in Leo, that Lionsgate portal on 8/8 is illuminating your second house of building new foundations, where your routine is concerned, where your worth and value is concerned, both self-esteem and monetary, and where the new relationship dynamics have to kind of be tweaked. Now, this isn't a bad thing because I think that the months leading up to your birthday kind of revealed to you where some relationships were dissolving and who was kind of taking advantage of your kindness, of your generosity, of your self-sacrificing ways. And now, because you have that information, it is very clear on who you're going to continue to pour into and who needs to be cut off. That being said, there is going to be a dramatic shift in your home, in your family environment, in the boundaries that you're looking to create and actually implement that you have to enforce. And you're going to be tested in that likely around mid-month. Venus moves into Libra around that time, illuminating that fourth house of home and family on foundations, on boundaries. And we're going to have a huge opportunity to rebalance those scales and really put what makes us happy, what makes us feel worthy, what makes us feel good first and foremost. Now, I know that sounds hard to believe because, again, as my Cancerian friends are very notable for, y'all sacrifice your own wants, needs, and desires in order to be there for other people. You are going to really feel the push and pull in your mental plane on where that particular narrative for some people needs to die. Yes, even when it comes to your career, you cannot continue to put the wants, needs, and desires of your career, of the roles and responsibilities required of your career before your home life and before pouring into yourself. You are going to have a situation really disrupt that way of thinking when Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus, illuminating the 11th house, making you see the connections, the aha moments on why you get treated a certain way in your career, in your personal relationships, because that is the way that you've taught people to treat you. This is really going to illuminate for you where a certain death needs to take place. And that is going to be illuminated under the full moon in Aquarius, illuminating your 8th house of death, rebirth, and transformation. Whatever it is that you've been working on disconnecting from, detaching from, kind of creating new habits for, will definitely come into fruition under this full moon in Aquarius. It is going to require you to take a huge mental shift where the sun moving into Virgo season is going to help you do that. But basically, this is about solidifying in your mind, in your heart space, who is your team? Who is there for you as if you are there for them? Again, these weak linked type of relationships have got to go. There's only a few solid people in your life that you can absolutely 100% count upon. And a lot of the effort that you're pouring into some of the relationships to try and show them your worth and your value need to be fully walked away from. It is time for you to get very serious on putting your own health and wellness, your own happiness, your own priorities back on the top of the list. There is going to be a very split triggered situation take place by the end of August that is going to make you feel very torn on what it is that you have to do. But moving inward and aligning with your higher self is going to lead you to putting yourself first, to stop sacrificing the best part of yourself, your energy, your love, your attention for other people's wants, needs, and desires. It's time to fill up your own cup. It's time to recognize that you are still very early on in your new natal year and that you have the energy supporting you this month to make a dramatic change, not only in your mental plane, not only in your heart space, but in the actual vibration and frequency that you're putting out into the universe. And when you start leveling up, and you start letting the universe know that you will no longer throw yourself in front of other people to take that hit, you will stop being presented with people and opportunities to allow you to see whether or not you are going to jump in front of that bus for them. So this month, Cancer, is about integrating the new energy that you got from your solar infusion at the time of your birth and recognizing where it is that you need to build new, stronger footings and foundations, especially in your relationships. So that is a little bit of a glimpse into what each one of the zodiacs can expect for the month of August. Of course, it's a very generalized sun sign reading that, of course, if we dive into your personal chart, we can pluck out and fine tune the exact life lessons, the exact situations that you're going to be faced with throughout the month of August. So if that's something you want to dive into, I definitely would encourage you to visit my website to book yourself a session, and we will jump into your chart and channel some of the messages coming in from your guide so we can really hone in on how to make this energy work for you instead of work against you. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in to this special episode of the Astro Tarot Forecasts for the month of August. I truly hope that it is a beautiful month of harmony, of peace, and of course, integration. Let's continue to follow our heart. Let's continue to light the fire. Let's continue to follow the new passion and purpose that we have been divinely instructed to follow. I wish you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon.